So today, or let's say this week, because the video is definitely not going out today. So I want to talk about my relationship with myself, and I want to do this because I've been thinking back quite a bit over the past, I'd say, the past half a week or so. I'm going to give a backstory. Well, it's not really a backstory. It's more just like context. Like I was back then, as opposed to where I am now. I would say before 2013, it wasn't something I thought about much. I had never given much thought to the concept of self-esteem, one's relationship with oneself, and the way one speaks to oneself. Then 7 years ago, started to really decline. It was like such a sharp decline. I mean, I went from having a relatively okay, perception about myself, and that just dipped. I mean, it was so sudden and so drastic. I just became this shell of myself. So much self-hate and negativity. I don't know. I Even now I think back, and I I still don't know how I got to that point, because I mean 2013 I was 16, and I don't know, there was just this change that happened, and I had never thought about it before then, but by the time I got to that point, it had gone completely upside down. And just being in that state of low self-worth and self-esteem and hating myself, it's something that I'm still recovering from even today. After that point, I spent about 2 years in that state continuously before I even began to realize that, oh, okay, I can actually do something about this. But the thing is, it was not nearly as easy as I thought it was going to be. It's not even that I thought it was going to be easy. I knew there was going to be some investment involved, but I didn't know that it was going to get so intricate, I guess. I thought, oh, okay, all I have to do is change my habits and work out more and, just do some certain things here and then. Everything will be fine. I'll be this person that I want to be. And it took a couple of years before I was really able to realize that it's much more complicated. It's not as easy as just saying, oh, I'm going to do do a couple of things here and then, everything will be fine. There was so much involved, so much sweat and frustration, anger, and confusion, because it felt like I was wasting away. It felt like what the hell am I doing? I even had like this 4-year goal that I was going to, get from this point to where I want to be in 4 years, and everything will, everything will be fine. And now, I'm definitely not angry at myself for thinking that way, because I definitely didn't know what I know now back then, and that's definitely the difference. So being able to understand where I actually was more and more, that was more fulfilling for me. That was more about self-awareness, being able to step back and watch myself, being to observe myself, being able to almost see the thoughts as they happen. And at the beginning, it's a very frustrating thing, because you become aware of problems, not just that you have a problem, but you actually start to realize what they are. And for a while, it's very hard, because you become more aware of problems, but you don't know how to fix them. You don't know how to say, okay, this is the issue. How do I go about making it work? don't. And then it becomes worse because not only do you not know how to solve the problems that you've become aware of, but as time goes on, you become more aware of more problems that you have and not being able to solve those ones either. It's hell. Like, it's just knowing what you need to do, but not knowing how to do it. And it's so grueling and so, but being more aware of what goes on in my mind has helped me change the way I relate to myself, because it's like, okay, I know that I think negatively about myself. How on earth do I go from saying horrible things about myself to a place that I can actually encourage myself and I can actually love myself? And it wasn't the ultimate solution, but it's helped me turn things around. I would say about 2017. 2017 was the year that I really began to change the way I spoke to myself. There's something that happens when you start doing something and you stick to it and you make progress. You move forward and you can actually notice the change. You tend to almost forget at the very beginning. I don't know if this is with everyone, but for me, it's been like I almost have to remind myself, like, this thing did not happen overnight. You didn't wake up one day and everything changed. There was time and there was effort. There were even times that you thought you were making no progress whatsoever, but you're here now and you need to look back and you need to be grateful for all that effort you put in at the beginning, because it's been a long 3 years. Now I can see the difference that those 3 years made. I've noticed that when we talk about self-esteem, we tend to kind of about these things separately, practicing gratitude, getting rid of negative thoughts and replacing them with positive ones, and changing the way you look at yourself and you look at life in general. Those things tend to be talked about separately, but with me, it has unfolded almost organically. It's like when I started to focus on one thing, the others kind of, I'll give an example. So before, even even as the years have unfolded since then, I've always found it hard to be grateful, comparing myself to other people and just being resentful. But as I have changed the way I speak to myself, I've noticed that gratitude tends to come more naturally to me. Now I start to find more things that I'm grateful for, even when the world around me is just going to shit. I still am able to look either inside myself or outside and say, oh, I'm grateful for this, I'm grateful for that. And it's not even something that I've gotten myself to do. It's happened almost organically, and I don't know how to explain that. I really don't, because I assumed that it was something that I really had to work on separately because I had struggled with it for so long. But now it's easier. I'm not saying I'm perfect, but it's easier. And I know that this is because of the way I've gone about things with myself, because I always try to not just think about now or think about where I want to be, but how I will look back on what it is I'm doing now, years and years later. That has really allowed me to look back and be grateful for the progress I've made, and that gratitude has evolved into gratitude for other things. So at this point, I guess there's this curiosity to see what unfolds as I continue to improve on my self-worth and my self-image, just to see what comes easier and what comes more organically and what I have to actively work on. So I'm just going to end here and talk more next week. So if you have any feedback, any comments, any tips that you can, give me, any advice you can share to help me do this better, then please, everything is welcome. So um I'll see you next time.